The myth of Daedalus and Icarus. In mythological ancient Greece, Minos is the king of the island Crete. He was a strong king, but he was also very harsh and not well liked. Daedalus and his son Icarus lived on the island. They wanted to leave Crete, but King Minos did not let them. He controlled the island and the sea around it, so Daedalus and Icarus could not escape. Daedalus is a great inventor, architect, and sculptor. Before Icarus was born, he created many things back in his homeland of Athens, such as axe, plumb line, drill, glue, and more. He designed the Ariadne's dancing floor, the prow of contemporary ships and automatons. With his skill it was regarded by many, but Daedalus was narcissistic and jealous of his nephew. Afraid of the thinking that his nephew is more talented than him, he murdered his nephew and is said to have thrown the boy from the Acropolis. For that act he was banished from Athens. Having arrived in Crete, where his creative reputation had preceded him, Daedalus was welcomed at the court of King Minos and his wife Pasiphae. Poseidon, the god of the sea, has cursed the wife of King Minos, Pasiphae, to physically desire the bull given to Minos by Poseidon. She came to ask Daedalus to help her to make a wooden cow to tempt it. As Daedalus gets skeptic at first, he eventually agreed and instructed a wooden cow, so that Queen Pasiphae could hide and mate with the bull. As she see the outcome, her face was filled of exuberancy and astonishment, marveler that her request has been granted, and as her schemes going straightly successful and all is good, she started searching and luring the bull. Queen Pasiphae caught the bull and started the inhumane act. After the bestiality, and as days passed by, Queen Pasiphae decided to get out of the bull and cherish the experience. As she started her first day to 6 and is walking, she feels something that is very unusual and some sort of dizziness. She knew this is going to happen and she anticipated it. She thereby became pregnant and bore the Minotaur, a creature with a human body and a bull's head. The king got mad and enraged after knowing what happened, and as a punishment Daedalus was forced to build a labyrinth from which the Minotaur could not escape and get imprisoned insanely. After that, Minos imprisoned Daedalus and his son Icarus inside at the top of the tallest tower in the island. However, Daedalus is a great craftsman, using feathers from the flocks that reach on the tower and the wax from candles. Daedalus fashioned wings of wax and feathers for himself and Icarus. Just before their flight, Daedalus warned his son to be careful. If he flew too high, the sun would melt the wax and the wings would disintegrate. If he flew too low, his wings would get wet in the ocean. Therefore, the key to their escape is to fly at a moderate height. As they fly, Icarus was filled with the exhilaration of flying. He looked around and realized that he was closer to the gods than any human had ever been. Overwhelmed by the thought that he forgot his father's warning, Daedalus could only watch with horror on his face as Icarus soared too high and too close to the sun. But there was nothing he could do to save his soul. The intense heat melted the wax. Holding his feathers fell like a snowflakes, and he fell into the sea where he met his end. After all, both men paid dearly for their deviation from the path of moderation, Icarus with his life and Daedalus with his guilty.